A beautiful morning to you. This is the 7th of December and you're tuned in to High Impact 102.1 FM. I am delighted to welcome you to another thrilling edition of the Newspaper Review right here on High Impact 102.1 FM. Don't forget we are also streaming live on YouTube. That's at High Impact 102.1 FM and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. I am Olumide Shokoy. I'm not the only one doing the papers. I also have Tommy this morning. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Olumide. I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty much fine. How are you doing?
Well, I'm fine. I'm gearing up for Christmas. I'm gearing up for all the goodies.
Amazing.
For
wow.
Christmas.
All the goodies.
Yes, all the chicken, all the... Well, it might not be turkey this time around because... Turkey is almost twice the price of chicken, so we hope for chicken, even if it's frozen, if it's not live chicken, if it's just frozen chicken.
Don't forget, send an invite to. I'm readily available to eat anything eatable this Christmas.
Honestly, I'm readily available to eat and get invite from whoever is willing to invite me.
Right.
Because things are not really going well this time around. A lot of people are just agitating. I mean, the 2024 bill budget is really getting people upset. People are just complaining. I mean, and then we have the COP28, the 1,140 delegates that went with the president, and little people are just agitating and wondering that why are we spending so much? We are still borrowing. And there we have the promised Port Harcourt refinery. We've not heard any latest story or update about that. And yesterday we also heard that the Ajaokuta Steel, the federal government is planning or seeking 35 billion naira to revive the Ajaokuta Steel, which a lot of money has been pumped into it. Billions of naira has been pumped into it. And well, we just hope that at least one step at a time. Let's start with the Port Harcourt refinery. Let's have it up and running.
Exactly.
And let's see if truly it might affect the fuel price and of course the FX market, the dollar, because dollar right now is not looking good. Dollar is still 900 and it might still go up to 1,000. I mean, it's going like 1,900, 1,000. Yes. Some people have even just pegged it at 1,000. That's the calculation people are doing now. 1,000. But we only hope that next year we would have something better than this. This year, I commend all Nigerians. We have tried.
Nigerians are very resilient people. Like where they can pass through anything. Just give them but don't just give them the leverage too much. Where their patience will start wearing out. You see Nigerians start saying, because we left you did this, you did that. But I'm just saying, I just feel like 2023 is just like a learning curve for us to just to learn, to see the face, to see how it's going to look like. And I hope and I pray that 2024 would be better, because that's what all Nigerians are hoping. All Nigerians are saying 2023 has gone now. Let's wait for next year. Let's see what the government, the president has for us.
Yes.
And we Nigerians are hoping, renewed hope. It is, so we are hoping that everything will be fine by next year.
Yes, renewed hope, like you said. But I think it's first of all you have to build that hope, then renew it. Right about now, I think the federal government has to build that hope towards next year or come next year. They have to build that hope, build that trust. Then we can now talk about renewing that hope, because so many things are just going here and there. Doctors, the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital closed some certain number of wards because the number of doctors are reducing drastically. And it's quite alarming. If we are having less doctors in the country, who's going to treat patients? Who's going to treat people? And then we have our politicians who are also going outside the country to get treatment. I mean, the whole thing is it's not really good.
For the funny thing is that I saw a nursing student. She's actually doing an internship in a government hospital. And the funny thing, the senior nurses asked that was like, when are you going to write your exams, your external exams? These external exams they do to go out of the country. When are you going to? And the lady was like, I don't understand. Write my external exam as per what? Are you expecting me to leave the country? She said 3 months later, they asked her again, you've not left, you've not received your exam. And I was like, okay, for the senior nurses to be asking you this, that's to show how the system has been.
Yes.
That shows that most people, most nurses, most recent graduate leaving school, medical school or nursing school, are now leaving the country, but because they feel like the system is not favorable to them.
Yes.
And it is not their fault. It is not their fault,
not.
because you see that doctors are going to strike, having strike every now and then because they're not paying them.
Yes.
So you are treating patients, and they need to be treated as well. They need to actually fend for their family, fend for themselves, and so I don't know. I just feel like the system needs to be good and better. ASU is there, education is there, everything is there, and you're saying, please, what is actually working in this country?
Yes. I saw another picture, a trending story of the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress. He actually was part of the delegation that went for the COP28, and there was this caption that he was beaten and compensated with the COP28. That's it's rather funny, rather funny, but that's what's trending on social media. Then I remember there was a video of a lady, a female doctor, who said that her lecturer, while in university, they both met each other abroad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, and she was shocked. Good. She was actually
Definitely.
shocked. But that's the situation we have ourselves in. And I know the United Kingdom, they are delegating. They are planning to have stricter laws that might prevent people or might prevent students from bringing dependents into the country, which a lot of Nigerians are frowning at. But it's the situation where we have ourselves. Well, it is the situation where we have ourselves. Yes, it's still the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. Don't forget, we're streaming live on YouTube and X. That's at High Impact 102.1 FM. The phone lines 0700 1021 1021 will be open shortly. You can also send WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. We'll be back shortly.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call
0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. Don't forget, we're streaming live on YouTube and X. That's at High Impact 102.1 FM. All right, let's do the papers. We'll start off with the Punch newspaper. The bold caption: Kaduna village bombing. Protesters storm National Assembly. AI threatens suit. Death reached 127. Yesterday it was 120. So 7 more tragic death has happened just in the space of yesterday and today. It's really, really sad that we're at this point where the military mistook villagers for bandits or terrorists, and they went into that village and dropped nukes. They dropped the bombs in that village, and now we have 127 deaths and counting, because we don't know what the death toll might be tomorrow. It's rather sad, and I think a panel should be set up. President Tinubu has ordered for a probe, but not just a probe. I feel heads should roll. I feel yes, people should be held accountable if some people are going to be relieved of their duties. It needs to serve as a deterrent to others that you cannot play with the lives of people. You cannot joke with intelligence gathering. This boils down on intelligence gathering. If your intelligence was solid, and just like our guest said, if your intelligence was solid, you're supposed to do a check a recheck,
Yeah.
do background check,
Yeah.
and confirm that this intelligence report is genuine.
Yeah,
before you go
ahead.
there.
Yeah. When I first saw this story, I was amazed. I was just dumbfounded. I was like, a mistake? How did you do a mistake like this? You've been in this service, or the
Yes.
the head of the team
Yes.
or the troop has been there for a very long time, because you cannot be the head of a military troop if you're not experienced, or if you've
Yes.
not been serving for a very long time.
Yes.
So how would you make a mistake like this without you confirming? And definitely heads should roll.
Yes.
I told the person that was actually seated beside me, like, if they don't relieve the person that led that troop,
Yes.
then there is something wrong.
There is.
There's definitely something, because if you don't do that, if you don't do something like that, something like this will happen again.
Again.
And they were like, yeah, they looked over it now. So it was a mistake. So
Yes.
we apologize. No, someone should actually account for it. Someone
Yes.
should take a fall for that. If
Yes.
it's the old team, we don't know. We don't care, because we cannot lose citizens, the life of citizens. And you're saying that it's a mistake. You didn't do your genuine findings, your investigations. You didn't go through the direct thing, and you're saying that you should, because there are times in the military, they will give you orders. They'll
Yes.
say 1, 2, 3, this and this. So when you're counting the 1, 2, and 3, did you find, like, it's alarming, because you cannot
alarming.
say that is a mistake and you're not accounting for it. No,
Yes.
you have to go down for it.
Yes, it's rather really sad.
Families
This
have
is very
lost
real.
their loved ones.
Yes,
So
120 families are mourning right now. Children,
that's a lot.
mothers,
Children are
fathers.
orphans now.
Yes, children are orphans. People have been turned to widows and widowers.
Widowers.
I mean, it's
No, no,
it's
no.
it's deploring. It's really sad. We have
very
two
sad.
riders to that story. Protesters condemn killings. United Nations urges military to protect civilians. PDP asked President Tinubu to declare national mourning. Victims may demand 29 billion naira. Just above the nameplate, we have 346 billion naira voted for presidential jets, refreshment, and others. These figures just keep going up. It's billions, and it's almost like very soon we'll be crossing to trillions. I mean, it's if we're doing billions
For
right now
presidential jets,
for presidential jets,
refreshment. Others like wardrobe.
Yesterday,
security.
I saw another report of about 10 million or more for animals living in the Aso Villa. I didn't know taxpayers' money is being used to rear animals
Wow.
in Aso Rock. It
For
was
what
quite
exactly?
shocking. I don't
Is
know.
it for the wildlife, like the presidential villa should actually see
Why are we rearing
wildlife or
animals
something? Because
in the
I'm actually shocked.
villa? We do
I
not
am
need that.
surprised. We do not need it. I don't know where we will get to the extent or the stage or the the development that will say that this money we don't want it. I don't want it for myself. I already have my own individual money. Let's just leave it for the citizens. And I don't know. I don't probably we've not gotten to that extent, because this is 300
Yeah.
and something billion naira. This
For
is
presidential
billion
jets.
naira.
And it begs the question, is it that when an administration comes in, the jet is not being serviced, they are not, or they just leave it in a very bad shape? So when the new administration
Get
comes in,
another one.
they have to get another one, or they have to do so many things. It also boils down on responsibility
Yeah.
and leadership.
Yeah.
Because at some point, you have to, well, just like the guest said yesterday, if when you get what they call free money,
Yeah.
you just
Use
lavish
it,
it and
definitely.
squander it anyhow,
That's-
because nobody's
it.
going to hold you accountable.
Nobody, and your hard work is not there, so you're not like, let me save some more, let me keep some, let
Exactly.
me not spend too much, because I don't know when the next one will come. But
Exactly.
because you know that something else will come for you from anywhere, so I can spend as much money as I want, because there is source, there's a source coming, like never ending source.
And the people who are supposed to delegate and make sure that this money, the amount of money that is being reeled out, are also enjoying the Senate, the National
Yeah.
Assembly. They're also enjoying from this.
That is it now.
That's the problem.
When you're eating from a source and you're saying that this thing is not right, it's not moral, you're enjoying. You don't
You're
want
enjoying.
to say that it's
Yes.
not moral, because you lose that enjoyment, you
Yes.
lose that benefit, you lose that advantage. So that's what I feel like we need more people that would actually speak up. There will be people that are speaking up, but we can't hear them because they're few. But if
Yes.
you have a lot more of them
Yes.
in that place, then definitely Nigerians will also push it up and say that yes, we need to be accountable, we need to be responsible, We need to see everything back to back end, front end, how you're spending the money, how this money is going like this. You're giving the else this amount of money. How are they using it? How are they spending it? You're giving the road or transport this amount of, how are they using it? You are using 300 and something billion naira for your jet. Okay, let us see it. How far? How is it doing? Where are you going to? Are you going for, UN meetings and or AU meetings or something, or to help the government or to help the country?
I think it's even funny that we are spending this amount of money on presidential jet, yet we do not have a national carrier. It's rather embarrassing to me. It's appalling that we do not even have a national carrier, and we are spending billions on presidential jet, whereas we can have a national carrier that can generate so much money back into the economy. But well, we like the habit of spending and not being able to generate money back. And let's move on. Airlines eye $964 billion. Nigerian African carriers post losses. That's on page 22 of the Punch newspaper. And beside that, we have federal government loses $161 million to 9-year conflict with Intel. That's according to the Nigerian Port Authority. That's on page 26 of the Punch newspaper. Below that, we have pictures of the newly elected Supreme Court justices. We have 11 of them. We have a caption says, Supreme Court 11 justices scale the NJC hurdles. Await President Tinubu's nod. You can see a picture of the newly elected, and they are still awaiting Tinubu's final approval. 11 justices. And beside that, we have federal government votes 50 billion naira for student loan. That topic, that loan, it's they said it was withdrawn, and they were looking to make it better because some of the criteria
it's a lot.
It's rather alarming. You want to borrow money and your income must be less than your guardian or whoever must be less than 500,000.
Exactly.
And you must have some sureties, guarantors. It's but I hope the essence of student loan is for people that cannot get access to education. It's also to encourage. I think the whole idea is to encourage more people to get educated. And if you make that same access difficult for people, you would discourage people.
Nobody even wants to take the loan because like the criteria is so much. How do I get this out there? I even heard that. I'm not really sure, but I heard that you have to have someone that is in the top tier government session,
as a guarantor or surety.
So what if someone that doesn't even know anybody in the government, that has a top tier again? It's very, very difficult. How, and person needs that money urgently, probably to final clearance to pay up what has been owing. How does the person do that? How do you say you want to you're okay, the plan is for you to relieve students or bodying for payment funds and everything, but you're giving a lot of criteria and you want the students to actually say thank you. You've increased their school fees by 200%. Some schools that were paying 70,000 are paying 200,000 naira. That is a lot of money. So how do you want this? And some students are fending for themselves. They're doing manual jobs to actually pay their school fees and actually fund themselves, buy manuals, buy textbooks and everything. And now there's a loan. They're happy, they're excited. But they can't afford it. They cannot get access to it. You see, the developed countries, when you see students going out of the country, most of the students living in the country are going on scholarship. And it's not from their country. It's from the other countries, other developed countries. While our own country, we are struggling to get loans. We are struggling to get scholarships. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair.
What the holes I'm trying to poke at this student loan is, it should not be restricted to the less privileged alone. It should be open to everybody, because whether you like it or not, even the average people or average Nigerian needs a student loan.
In this economy,
people want to further their education. I might want to further my education. I might not have that money at that point. And yes, I'm working. So I'm even in a better position to pay back that loan than the less privileged who might not even have any means. That's why he wants to borrow that. But so it should be open to everybody, whether it's the less privileged, the average, or even the upper class and all that. It should be open to everybody. The government should make it open so far as you meet a certain criteria,
Yeah.
it should be open, because whether you like it or not, sometimes, even I remember when during my final year, my school fees was not yet paid full. I think it was about just a little, and we couldn't get it at that point. So you can imagine if
Yeah.
I had access to student loan, I would have gotten that
Yeah, easily.
and paid.
Yeah.
So I think it should be open to everybody, not
Yeah.
just the less
I'm really
privileged.
thinking the criteria should be okay. Once you are a student of this university,
Yes.
you have your matric number, you have
Yes.
your ID card.
Yes.
Okay, send your matric. Let me confirm from your school if you're a genuine student.
Yes.
And that is fine.
That's all.
And that is
What's the
fine.
criteria to even measure the less privileged? Because whether
Exactly.
we are all less privileged
we
living in this
are.
country.
We are less privileged, though.
Honestly, because I mean the privileges we expect from the government,
Yeah.
we are not getting it. So
We aren't.
I mean we are less privileged. Let's move on. Family mourns Nigerian lady strangled to death in the United Kingdom. It's a sad one there.
Very sad.
Condolences to the family. That's on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And lastly, suspected ritualist dismember OAU student sell parts to Ogun. Yahoo boy. It's alarming how youth and young people right now are just on this rampage to just get money. It's rather sad, and you wonder how how we got to this level. I mean, before there was dignity in labor, but now that dignity it's almost as if I won't say it has been thrown out of the window or
Yeah.
something. There's dignity in labor, whether you like it or not, but
Yeah.
the rate at which people are just going about looking for money.
It's
So
alarming.
It's alarming, and the only thing I can just say, you just whether you're a man or a woman, a young lady or young man, you need to be very careful
Yeah.
who you are, the company you keep, who
yeah.
you are moving around, especially ladies. Yes, especially ladies, because ladies are mostly the victims of these ritualists.
Yeah.
They fall for this. It could be a boyfriend, a friend, or a roommate or something.
Yeah, definitely.
You just have to be really, really very careful.
Yeah.
And I think that's all we have right now on the Punch newspaper this morning.
Okay, you can call us on 0700 1021 1021 0700 1021 1021, or you can send us a text message or a WhatsApp message on 0907 224 5018 0907 224 5018. I have here with me the Guardian newspaper, and on the front page, the major story: dilapidated police barracks, 22,000 officers await relocation claims 7 months after quit notice. 22,000 officers await relocation claims 7 months after quit notice. You read that on page 6, and underneath you see pictures of Military of Police Affairs 2024 budget 938.73 billion naira. 938.73 billion. If you see the police barracks on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, you would be amazed. What I mean amazed, shockingly amazed, like disappointingly amazed.
It's at Ikeja. Yeah, I passed it yesterday and I saw the barracks, and it's not good.
It is not good. It is not. And some people say that the police are actually not helping us on the road. They are collecting this, they are collecting that. See where they are living.
Yes,
See where they are living, and it is not. It's not nice.
It's not nice. It's really not nice,
It is
and
not.
there's no package, to cater for them, and especially when they are no more, when they die in the line of duty. It's really. I mean, I don't know. There was a time the Nigerian police was rated the most corrupt institution in the world. I don't know where that figure is right now, but I think if they are being taken care of, I think they would the vices which they commit would reduce.
It will definitely reduce. And the breakdown for the budget, that's the 938.73 billion naira, is personnel 806.7 billion naira, overhead 62.4 billion naira, capital projects 69.6 billion naira, ongoing assessments of police barracks 100.5 million naira, construction provision of stations barracks 5.77 billion naira, rehabilitation repairs of station and barracks 1 billion naira. And beneath that, you see, Tinubu threatens to shut public buildings, denying access to PWDs. Tinubu threatens to shut public buildings, denying access to PWDs. Page 3 has the story. Arewa coalition alleges Kano crisis against Tinubu. Arewa coalition alleges Kano crisis against Tinubu. Page 5. Why would... Well, I see that, they say that the president is actually the head, head of states. They call him head of states. So I feel like, probably they were expecting, the head of the troop at that time to should report to the president before they actually go through that, or...
Well, no, I do not know their
the reasons,
their bureaucracy or hierarchy and all that, but I believe there's a commander.
Definitely.
There's always a commander of that battalion, apart from the chief of army staff, before it gets to the president. So there's this hierarchy which you have to go through. It all boils down to intelligence report. That's basically it. If you have good intelligence report, we won't be experiencing all this.
Definitely,
it's just intelligence report gone wrong. That's all.
Yes, intelligence reports gone wrong. UN plays Kaduna bombing as protesters storm National Assembly, demand minister's resignation. UN plays Kaduna bombing as protesters storm National Assembly, demand minister's resignation. Page 6. Yes. Exactly. That is
Minister
just
of Defense. Yeah.
Yes, that is just it. And I saw one story, one headline on another paper that we will be taking it very soon. Minister of Defense actually talking back and saying that, because of these, we will stop them from going against terrorists. That is our aim.
How
is for
are we
you
sure?
To go against, right? It's for you to go against terrorists. So what are you saying? Are you saying it to just cover your head and protect it? Because you are supposed to be, your head is supposed to be on the table right now. If somebody's head is not on the table, then I don't think we're going to be moving away from the story anytime soon.
I mean, how are we sure the next intelligence report you would get
would be correct?
Genuine? How are we sure that? I mean, I think right now they should not even be telling us that the next won't deter us. They should try as much as possible to just douse the tension right now. Not tell us what not. In some other papers, they were saying, they actually bombed some terrorists. They actually caught some terrorists. And
so that's
so many insensitive comments flying here and there. They are trying to just do damage control. But in order to do damage control, just douse the tension. Just apologies, probe, and let people be accountable. That's all.
That's it. Accountability. If we can get to that, if we can get accountability for this particular incident that happened, then Nigerians would actually be certain that there is someone that we can trust.
Yes.
That can actually put our faith over and know that, okay, something is actually working in this country. But if someone is not accountable for what happened in Kaduna, then I don't know what Nigerians would actually be thinking. Because lives, to actually go through gatherings now would be discouraging. It would be very, very discouraging, because people like, what if we are gathered here again and they come and now how Nigerians can be.
Yes,
and I would not blame them if they do that.
Yes, you're right about that.
Moving on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, Youth Games, a decade of deceit or work in progress. A decade of deceit or work in progress. You see that on page 4. IVF, Nigerian youth sell garments for survival. Nigerian youth sell garments for survival. People need money. They need that money. And you see that it is getting bad. It is getting bad. And when I say that social media, we all know that social media can disadvantage. It has its own disadvantages. It has its own advantages.
Yes.
And people see it like, it's time for me to flaunt the things I have. It's time for me to flaunt the things I don't even have. For people to see that I have them. So others will like, this person, I'm actually older than this person. This person has this thing. So what do I need to get this thing? Person see the next available, thing that is illegal or legal, and the person just jump on it and say, yes, I need to do this to get this money. And it's alarming. It's alarming. It's very alarming. Moving on again, sportsmanship lesson of the Liberian election. Sportsmanship lesson of the Liberian election. Page 12 has the story. 2023 exit list. P&G shuts manufacturing as Forex crisis takes toll on production.
Yes. it's coming to that. International companies would start to shut down, because here's the reason. Now, for instance, most of these international companies, when they remit funds back to their country, they remit in dollars, not Nigerian currency. So first of all, they have to make, so if the dollar, for instance, if they were remitting 500 naira per dollar back to their country, and now the dollar is 1,000, so they have to make up to 1,000 naira. That's double of what they were remitting back to the country. They have to make double of that to remit, just to even meet up with the former target. Let's say they were remitting maybe $1 million last year, or they remitted $1 million last year. So for them to remit that same $1 million, it's not as if they are not even above that, just remitting $1 million, they have to make twice of what they made last year to remit just that same $1 million back. And there's cost of production, there's salaries to be paid, so many things. It's not easy, so you can't blame them.
That's to show that if they leave the country, then Nigerians have to buckle up and start, manufacturing their things, start producing their thing, and maybe we'll start being one of the manufacturing countries in Africa, and we might now move ahead to be in the world, because
I dream of that day.
I dream of it, because when these countries leave, how do we survive? Are we going to start
importing again?
That's going to be very expensive.
Very, very, very expensive.
And that's all on the front page of the Guardian newspaper.
All right, don't forget, we are streaming live on YouTube and X at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can send your text message. You can also call 0700 1021 1021. WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. Let's move on with the Vanguard newspaper. Yes, the bold caption says, bombing error when they fight against terrorism. Yes, we want you to fight terrorism, but just get the best of the best intelligence report. This statement was made by the defense minister. You can find that on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. A couple of writers to that story. Let me just quickly take two of them. UN deplores incident. Death toll rises to 127. Victims recount ordeals. Yes, and there's a picture representation here. We can see President Tinubu. It says here, Beninese president visits President Tinubu. That's the caption there. Just above the nameplate, we have more suffering for retirees as federal government cut pension spending by 21%. That's on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, then we have another one here. NJC okays 11 new justices for Supreme Court. That's on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Demolition. Court freezes Kano government account over 30 billion naira compensation. More of that on page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on to all the stories. Plot to subvert people's will portend danger. That's a statement made by a coalition. It's on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. We have another one here. Stop tax waivers and concessions already granted to corporate entities. Senate tells federal government. Beside that, we have government should discourage pegging naira to a currency. That's according to experts. And the last one here, we have a sports story here. Eagles must win AFCON. NL tells FFF and Pesero. And I think that's all we have right now on the Vanguard newspaper.
So let me quickly go through the last paper with me. The Daily Trust newspaper. The major story on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper says zero allocation for Mambila Park project in 2024 budget. And the writers to that story said ministry gets 400 million naira for conferences. Senators vow to query minister. It's plots to emasculate our region, says Northern Elders Forum. Says federal government not ready to address energy crisis, and you can read that on page 4 of the Daily Trust. Beneath that, Kaduna Village massacre, protesters besiege National Assembly Zaria, and you can see the full story on page 3. Beneath that as well, NJC recommends appointments of 11 Supreme Court justices, 32 others. Page 20. Border closure. We are losing 13 billion naira weekly, says freight forwarders. We are losing 13 billion naira weekly, says freight forwarders. Gunmen attack Kogi Election Tribunal scribe, cut away documents. Government attack Kogi Election Tribunal scribe, cut away documents. And beneath the nameplate on the front page of the Daily Trust, prisoners from foreign lands working at construction sites in Nigeria, says Senate panel. Prisoners from foreign lands working at construction sites in Nigeria, says Senate panel. You see the full details of that story on page 4. PDP, NNPP, 5 others form coalition. Issues in Kano, Plateau, points out to a one-party state. And the last story on the front page of the newspaper, Gaza war may aggravate threats to international peace, UN Secretary General warns. Gaza war may aggravate threats to international peace, UN Secretary General warns. You see that on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper, and that's all on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper.
Don't forget we stream live on High Impact 102.1. I beg your pardon, at High Impact 102.1 FM. That's on YouTube and on X. You can also send your calls. You can call 0700 1021 1021. Send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the discussion.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information,
call 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. Don't forget we're streamlining on X and YouTube. That's at High Impact 102.1 FM. You keep your calls coming in 0700 1021 1021. Right now we're being joined by Rotimi Akinola. Good morning and welcome to the newspaper review.
Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you.
Yes, my pleasure to be here.
All right. I'm sure you're aware of the Kaduna bombing, and a lot of people have come out to say so many things. The United Nations have also come out. The Amnesty International have also come out, and now we're getting reports that protesters stormed the National Assembly and threatened suit as death toll has reached 127. It was 120 yesterday. So quickly, let's get your reaction first to all that is going on, and what do you suggest should be the next step for the Nigerian military and, of course, the Senate, and in extension, the federal government?
Well, it's quite unfortunate that the instruments of coercion, the instruments of force, the instruments of war that is designed or procured to protect Nigerians, from external aggression, are being mistakenly used to kill the same Nigerians. It is rather unfortunate. And the strange thing here is that this will not be the first time this will be happening. I remember vividly January 17, 2017. That was the one that really went down. That was the first time it happened. Under the Buhari administration, the military mistakenly bombed, an IDF camp in Ram, Borno State.
Wow.
And a lot of people were killed. It's so unfortunate. I think sometimes it's due to failure of intelligence. Another time is due to maybe non-state actors, all these attackers, all these bandits and terrorists, using villagers and communities as human shields. Maybe they come under attack from the military, and then they run into a community, and then the military is because of the mode of because of the mode of operation, the military is unable to distinguish between, civilian and militant, and then there is a lot of collateral damage. So I think, first of all, the military, the military needs to fine-tune its intelligence gathering, its intelligence apart, so that we can know who is who, and then we can act appropriately. Secondly, nobody can stop anybody from protesting over what has happened. This is not the first time. It's not the second time. So even this year, this should be like the third time this is happening this year, or the second time this is happening this year. Okay, this should be the second time this is happening this year. We had one in January, another one last December 2022. So it is unbecoming of the military. This is the first time it is happening under the Buhari, the Tinubu administration. But it has happened like 4 or 5 times under. It happened like 4 or 5 times under Buhari. So it is really becoming unbecoming. So nobody can stop anybody from protesting. The military and the government needs to engage the affected community, and people must be compensated. There's no other way to go about it. And then going forward, the military, has to have proper engagement with, communities that lie, in areas where the military want to carry out airstrikes, and then be able to distinguish between who is who. This is about intelligence, and it's about, community engagement and compensations.
Thank you very much for that. Also, part of intelligence report is, just like you said, community engagement. If you are planning to attack a particular village, you at least must have some sort of, or some level of intelligence, or some sort of relation with people living in that village. I remember even in the Israel and Hamas war, Israel ordered the Palestinians to leave northern Gaza because they believed the Hamas were using them also as a human shield, but they sent out a warning that people should leave that place before entering or before going into that place. So I feel that apart from, you also mentioned of compensation, but don't you feel that heads should roll? Don't you feel that some people should be made accountable, should go for this? Like, for instance, the protesters were also calling for the minister's resignation. What's your thought on that?
Well, anybody calling for anyone's resignation in the Nigerian government is, I don't know, maybe they are just playing to the gallery. When the first one happened in 2017, January 17, 2017, we expected that heads will roll. This is one of the problems with this country. Things happen and there are no consequences. Nobody takes responsibility. Everybody is hiding under the collective name of the organization. Because by the time you go into it, and by the time you make your findings, I'm not saying this is the case in this particular case, but more often than not, people get into positions of power in this country, by influence, by nepotism and all that. So when somebody gets into a position not based on merit, even the president is alleged to have stolen the election, and he's been accused of fixing his cronies and his friends in high places of power. So who is going to sack these people? So there cannot be accountability. There cannot be accountability in this kind of system. Accountability is non-existent. It's not that it's there. It was never alive. It is non-existent. So I think what can happen, and maybe the military wants to do an operation, carry out an operation in an area now. The fear is also that, I'm not saying this is the case, but we've had several reports about Boko Haram and all that, that they are embedded in these communities. And you cannot begin to inform the community of what you are planning to do with terrorists who are embedded among them. So that will lead to a collapse of intelligence and all that. Okay, remember, but I think one area where our military apparatus fails is that there is no interagency sharing of intelligence. And that one is actually a big problem, big failure. Okay, something happened where I think it was in Nasarawa, was in Nasarawa. The one that happened in January was in Nasarawa. So some herdsmen went to Benue to graze, to do open grazing, which was banned in Benue. So the Benue state government seized their cows. All right?
Okay.
So they were asked to pay a fine. So they went to Benue. According to reports, they went to Benue and they paid the fines. And then Benue released their cattle to them. So these people were now transporting, they were in large numbers transporting their cattle to another state. To Nasarawa. And then a military drone over them, and according to the report, opened fire on them, and people were killed. You begin to ask yourself, how is it possible that the Benue state government is, releasing cows that were seized to those who own those cows, and then those ones were transporting the cows to another state, and then the police will probably know about it, and then the military didn't know. So that's a failure of intelligence, sharing of intelligence. These people, you see this large number of cows. This is what is happening. They are not bandits. They are not terrorists. Don't open fire on them. This caused a very, very, very chaotic situation in January, and happened under the Buhari government. So there is no trust in this nation. I don't know. I don't really know what is going on. So I don't know. And it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, like you said, there's no trust in this nation, in the government. And meanwhile, at the front page of the Punch newspaper is telling us that 346 billion naira voted for presidential jets, refreshments, and others. 346 billion naira for presidential jets, refreshments, and others. What do you see to this story?
For refreshments.
I'm laughing because I don't want to say the country is a joke. I'm a Nigerian. I love this country. I believe in one Nigeria. But if we don't do what we are supposed to do, this country will eventually collapse, because Nigeria is becoming increasingly unsustainable, and the people in power seem not to care. They seem not to care. Okay, we should end subsidy payments on PLS. It will help the economy. We have to make that sacrifice. Blah blah blah, and that was done. And now we are paying. Some people are paying almost 700 naira per liter for petrol. You understand that? This petrol, the people in government get it for free. They don't pay for it. They don't pay for the petrol. They don't. And these are the people who want to buy new cars. They want to build new business. They want to renovate buildings for billions of naira. We are saving money for subsidy payments. How much are we saving from reducing the cost of government? You still appoint a million billion heads to do what? No, to do what? If you look at the financial input into the government and look at the output in terms of delivering on their mandate, they went to the National Assembly now. They stood on President Tinubu's mandate. Made a joke of the National Assembly. Budget presentation, you are singing a campaign, playing a campaign tune at the budget presentation. They made a mockery of 200 million people. This same mandate everybody is standing on now. By the time you look at the output in terms of delivery on that mandate, it is zero. It is zero. Doctors are fleeing the country. The people who should build this country, the future of this country, the young people, once they get like 10, 15 million, 20 million naira, they run to Canada, they run to
UK.
And then you are voting billions and billions, into the government, and then the money just disappears. The output is zero. So they take this country, they are running this country as if it's a comedy skit. We cannot continue like this. We can't continue like this. It's unfortunate.
All right, thank you very much, Rotimi Akinola. Thank you very much for joining the discussion. We do appreciate your input.
pleasure. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's quite a lot to swallow. But we will all keep being a patriotic Nigerian. That's all we have to be, a patriotic Nigerian. Let's all exercise or display patriotism.
Yeah.
That's all we have to do. And we can only hope that Nigeria will get better come 2024.
Yeah.
The year is ending, and we only hope that the federal government will step up their game. They will step up and make the country less burdensome. Let's not dream too much, but less burdensome.
Yeah.
Let's just make this country less burdensome. For instance, the Kaduna bombing, I feel compensation. A probe needs to be set up, and we need to find a way to fine-tune intelligence gathering, just like the guest said, intelligence sharing. There has to be intelligence sharing, and let's only hope and make sure that this does not repeat itself. Let's put a stop. Let it be the last time we would hear of military, mistakenly bombing civilians and all that. But this is where we round off today's program, the Newspaper Review on High Impact 102.1 FM. A big thank you for listening and tuning in. I am Olumide Shokoya.
And I am Oluwatomi Owoborode. The Morning Impact Show continues.